Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be basically talking about where I've been the past 6 months and why I never posted the rest of my pregnancy journey. So as you guys can probably tell, my last video was on my 28-week pregnancy update. And I never did a week 29 because I actually had my daughter at 29 weeks pregnant. So if you're not familiar with how pregnancy works, basically a typical pregnancy is between like 39 and 40 weeks. That's like a normal pregnancy. So that's how long you gestationally hold the baby for. So for me, I had my daughter at 29 weeks pregnant, and that is very premature. It's basically 2.5 months premature. And yeah, so that's why I stopped doing my YouTube videos, in case anyone was wondering. And I kind of just wanted to come on here. It's been 6 months since I posted a video, and I wanted to just basically come on here and let you guys know what's up and what my story is. So yeah, I'm just gonna kind of like jump into it and let you guys know what happened. So basically, I was 29 weeks pregnant, and I believe it was like a Sunday, and it was either a Sunday or Monday, and I basically had this breastfeeding class that I went to, and it was at the hospital that I was originally supposed to deliver Harlow at. And basically I hadn't felt her move in over 24 hours, and they say that once you hit 27 weeks pregnant, if you feel any type of decreased movement in the fetus, in the baby, then you should definitely go to the hospital and get that checked out right away. So I called my OBGYN after the class. I had talked to one of the nurses there, and she recommended that I call my OBGYN and see what his thoughts were. And he basically said to go to the emergency room right away and get that checked out. So I went to the emergency room after my breastfeeding class, and they basically said, well, at first I thought that they were just going to give me like a cold drink, something sugary to wake the baby up, and she would move around and I'd feel her and then I'd be out of there. Well, they gave me something cold and sugary to drink, and she did wake up. I did feel her move, although they didn't let me go home right away, and I was really confused. I was like, wait, why? What's going on? And they basically said that the nurses and the doctor on call there basically said that I need to I should prepare to go to have my baby. Basically, I was going to not leave the hospital without having the baby. And the reason being is because they had hooked me up to a fetal monitor, which is basically a big band that they wrap around your belly, and they can track the baby's heart rate and oxygen levels and all that kind of stuff. So basically they said that she had decreased heart rate variability. So she had no variability in her heart rate. So a normal baby's heart rate would look like this on the monitor, you know, those squiggly lines, but she didn't have any of that. So hers was like not flat line, but it was like this, and then it would drop, and it was like this, and then it would drop. So she kept having a decrease in her heart rate. So they basically said that I need to prepare to not go into labor, because I never went into labor, but basically that I just needed to prepare to have my daughter. So that was really scary for me, and I didn't know at 29 weeks pregnant that a baby could survive at that rate. So I was really extremely scared, and although the doctors were saying that this was the right thing to do, I didn't feel like it was the right thing at the time. So I know that I'm skipping over a lot that happened, but basically that was like the gist of the first hospital experience. And you know, that night I had called my boyfriend and let him know everything that was going on. They had given me a steroid injection at the hospital, which basically helps the baby's lungs to develop while the baby is still inside of you. So I had to have a steroid. I took 1 round of steroids in order to develop her lungs a little bit more. And we actually ended up leaving against medical advice because we both didn't feel that it was the right thing to do at that moment. And I kind of felt like at that first hospital that they were more like trying to sell us on having the baby there, and they were like telling my boyfriend like, oh, do you want to go tour the NICU and all this stuff, and I was just like, what is going on? And we had like 5 different sonograms, and she came out 8 out of 8. They rate the sonograms 8 out of 8. Nothing was wrong with her. The only thing that the doctors could really see was that she may have had like her hands wrapped around her umbilical cord, and so she might have been cutting off her oxygen supply. So that was like the only thing that they could really see. So I was just like, no, and we both called both of our parents and stuff, and my mom was like, no, don't have it, don't have the baby right now, and same with his parents. And basically we left against medical advice, and we went home that night, and I prayed on it, and I was just like, oh my gosh, you know, the doctors were saying all this stuff, like, I don't know, it's not like I didn't want to believe the doctors, but it's like I just didn't think that it was possible for the baby to survive outside of the womb at 29 weeks. So, yeah, that's where my head was at. And then I woke up the next morning, and I just had like a gut feeling, like I knew that the longer that I waited, the worse things were going to be. So I called my mom early in the morning, and I was just crying, and I was just like sobbing, like didn't know what to do. And basically I was just asking her, like, you know, what should I do? And she was like, well, why don't you go to a different hospital and get another doctor's opinion? And so that's exactly what I did. So I, you know, told my boyfriend what I wanted to do and stuff. And so we went to another hospital, and without the doctor even looking at previous medical records or anything like that, they hooked me up to a monitor at the second hospital, and they basically said that we need to get this baby out 5 minutes ago. So we were back in the same, you know, like toss up whether we should go through with it or not. And I basically told them that I wanted to have the baby. I felt like at this hospital I just felt more comfortable. I felt like they weren't trying to push anything. The doctor even said, you know, if you were my daughter, I would 100% recommend you having the baby. And he basically said that if we walk out those doors without having the baby, there's a 1% chance that the baby would live. So basically he was like, your daughter is, you know, on the edge of the Grand Canyon about to fall off. You can either save her or you can walk away. And at that point my God, I'm gonna start getting emotional. At that point I chose to obviously save her. And yeah, so we ended up going through with the C-section, and so that was April 5th. I had my daughter of 2017, and she was born at 2 pounds 2 ounces. And yeah, she made it, and she is a little survivor. And I'm so grateful to God and to all of the nurses and the doctors that, you know, really were there that day, and especially to the doctor that delivered her, because he was just like really straight up and honest. And he was like, look, I never saw any of your old previous medical records. I have no idea what's going on. All I can see is what's on that monitor, and it's not good. And he said that basically the doctor let me know after the surgery that she had one more massive dip in her heart rate right before they took her out. So that was like the last huge like dip that she had. And so basically they took her out like right in the nick of time. And yeah, so I just remember going in the surgery room, and I was just really, I was like shaking. I was so nervous, and I had to get the epidural in my back. And obviously for a C-section, it basically like numbs you from the waist down, and I had to get put under like anesthesia, I think it was. I'm not exactly sure all of the like medical terminology and stuff. All I know is that they had to numb me up, and there was like 20 different doctors in the room, and they were all waiting for my baby to come out. And the doctor was just like yelling at the nurses and stuff, and he was like, give me the scalpel, whatever it is. And I just remember like 5 minutes later, or actually no, my boyfriend wasn't even in the room, and then I heard the doctor say like, give me the scalpel, whatever you call it. And I was like, oh my god, where's my boyfriend? And so they like brought him in the room and stuff, and he was all like, had the gown on and the mask and like the little hairnet and stuff. And he came in, and I just remember holding his hand. And then what happened after that? Then I remember like not even 5 minutes later, they took the baby out, and I heard like a little squeal. I was like, like she just sounded so cute, like a little squeal. And then after that, we didn't hear anything, so we were really worried. They like grabbed her, took her to the corner of the room, and there was like 20 different doctors all around, and they put her in like this plastic bag in order to keep her body heat, because that plastic bag, and at that age and like weight and stuff, I don't think that they can keep their body temperature on their own. So they were basically like pumping her full of oxygen, and then had to put her in the plastic bag, keep her body temperature up. And yeah, then I just remember them putting her in the incubator, and then I just remember looking at her brown eyes. They put like CPAP mask over her, which is basically like to help her breathe, gives her oxygen through the CPAP. And yeah, I just remember seeing her eyes, and then they rolled her away, and that was that. They took her to the Children's Hospital, which was connected conveniently to my hospital underground. So I got to recover at my hospital, but she was just right next door. So I didn't get to hold her or anything like right after she was born. Actually, I didn't get to hold her until 4 days after she was born, because she's so tiny and she had to be in the incubator. So yeah, that's basically what happened. And I just remember like they took me to the recovery room, and I was just like shaking from all the anesthesia and all the medication stuff that they had put me on, and the epidural and stuff. And I just remember being like itchy from all of that medication. And then they took me to the room, the like, I don't know, I guess where mothers, the labor and delivery room? No, they took me to the recovery room. I don't know, they took me to the room where you're supposed to go after you have your baby. And I just remember that night was like the hardest night of my life, because I just remember hearing all of these babies in the rooms on either side of me, and I didn't have my baby with me. And I felt so just like hopeless and like sad, because I didn't have my baby, and she was next door, and I couldn't just walk up and go see her because I just had a major surgery. And it was just like hard for me to even go to the restroom and stuff. So yeah, anyways, that was the hardest night of my life. And I pumped right after I gave birth to her, like 4 hours after I gave birth to Harlow. I started pumping milk every 2 hours, and I was really on schedule, like really diligent with that. So I think that really helped like the supply and demand as far as like my breast milk went and stuff like that. But yeah, that was definitely the hardest night of my entire life, was the day I gave birth to Harlow. And it was just like such an emotional roller coaster and stuff. And yeah, I don't know how to explain it. It was just really hard, and I don't even think my mom was there at that point. She had a flight to come in like the very next morning, so yeah, it was just really hard to do that, and it was just so unexpected, and it was something that both my boyfriend and I were not prepared for, to have a premature baby. And I don't know if I mentioned this earlier or not, but I hadn't even had my baby shower, so we were just very like unprepared. And it's weird because I kind of knew that she was going to come early, but I didn't know that she was going to come that early. So yeah, it was hard to say the least, but it all worked out in the end. She ended up being in the NICU for 78 days, and I was there with her every single day. So that's kind of why there was like an absence of videos that whole time, because I was taking care of Harlow in the hospital, and I don't really think you can film inside of the NICU. And even if you could, I probably wouldn't have, just because that was such an emotional like time for me, and I just needed that time to like bond with her and, you know, do what I had to do and take care of her. So yeah, that's basically what happened. Harlow is actually awake right now, so I'm gonna go grab her and then I'll be right back. Say hi. Say hi, honey. Hi, honey. This is Harlow, Hildy Rose. Hi, baby. Hi. She just woke up, so she's probably a little cranky. Oh, are you talking? Are you talking? Uh-oh. But yeah, so she's been home since June 22nd or 23rd. I can't remember. But she's the light of my life. I love her so much. And hi, honey. And if you guys are wondering, what? Ow, don't pull my hair. Don't pull my hair. What are you pulling my hair, huh? What are you pulling on my hair? If you guys are wondering what the little red mark is underneath her left eye, it is a... Ouch! You're hurting me! Ow! 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 Is that funny? That's not funny. That's not funny. You hurt mama. You hurt mama. You hurt mama. And this is why I never wear my hair down. The mark underneath her left eye is a hemangioma. So if you don't know what that is, it's basically like a group of blood vessels that are like exposed or something like that. I don't know. All I know is that it's common in preemies, but the location of where it's at is not common. So hers is like right in her eye, so she had to have 2 steroid injections while she was in the NICU for her hemangioma. A lot of babies get them like on their butts or on their legs in places that are not really like, I guess. Hi. You're so cute. A lot of babies get them in places that aren't in like I don't know, dangerous spots to have him, but she had it right in her eye, and it was getting so bad to the point where she was barely able to open that eye, so we had to get steroids. Yes. So we had to get her 2 steroid injections, and it has gone down significantly, and she's actually on propranolol right now 3 times a day, which, speaking of that, I need to give her right now. So I'll be right back. Okay, I'm like feeding her right now, but yeah, I hope that this video kind of like cleared up why she was born premature, and sorry if I left a lot of stuff out or if the story didn't really make sense, but if you guys have any questions, feel free to ask me. And yeah, I think that's all that I had to say. So hope you guys enjoyed this video, and hopefully I can start uploading way more videos now that I'm like used to being a mom now a little bit more and being on somewhat of a routine. So now I have like, I kind of know her schedule a little bit more, so I'm can like make some videos and stuff here and there. So yeah, just let me know any type of video you guys want to see next, and I'll see you guys in my next one. All right, talk to you later. Bye.